Wow, oh wow, oh wow. Donald J. Trump found liable for defaming E. Jean Carroll by a New York jury. I told you guys this had a good chance. I told you guys, based on the evidence and on Trump's wild deposition video, that there's a good chance that E. Jean Carroll could win this case. So let's go to this article here. It's going to be from NBC News. And it says, Trump found liable for sexually abusing and defaming E. Jean Carroll in civil trial and is ordered to pay $5 million. A New York jury on Tuesday found former President Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing writer E. Jean Carroll in a Manhattan department store in the 1990s. The jury, but not liable for her rape. The jury awarded her $5 million in damages for battery and defamation claims. So we've heard a lot of slander from Trump on this woman, especially in the last few days and weeks, of how he never even knew her and he doesn't even know who this person is. He's never met her before. This is just a woman trying to stake her claim to fame and trying to have her 15 minutes by accusing Trump of something he never did. Well, this jury looked at the evidence. They heard testimony from over 11 witnesses, and they heard everything in this trial, and they found that in fact Trump did at least sexually assault E. Jean Carroll. I mean, wow, this is crazy. Just because Trump has been so adamant about not even knowing this woman. And it's really interesting is how his deposition video could have ended up shooting him in the foot. Now, we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. The first thing I want to explain here is why he's not guilty. And that would be because this is a civil trial. It's not a criminal trial, right? So in a criminal trial, defendants are either guilty or not guilty. And in a civil trial, he can be shown that he was liable for defaming E. Jean Carroll, but he's not guilty of a criminal charge. Okay, so that's an important distinction to make. Trump's not going to be facing any jail time over this verdict. But I just want to speak a minute about Trump's deposition video. And when I first saw it, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Maybe I should have been able to believe it, given that this is Trump we're dealing with. But the fact that his egotistical nature, he can't even suppress it, even for when it benefits him for 10, 15 minutes to do so. He had no remorse. He had no sort of no regret for what he said in the past. And one of the key pieces of evidence, I believe, is the Hollywood Access tapes, which I don't have to repeat to y'all what Trump said. We all know what Trump said in the Hollywood Access tapes. And the prosecutor asking Trump during the deposition video, do you see yourself as somebody who is a star? And Trump says, yeah, I could see myself being a star. And we all know what he said. It's okay for men who are stars to do to women. And so you have multiple people testifying that E. Jean Carroll confided in them shortly after the attack. And they testified to the validity of the assault and testified to exactly what E. Jean Carroll told them but shortly after the assault happened, okay? As well as other women who testified who accused Donald Trump of the same behavior that E. Jean Carroll has now won her case of, okay? So you had his deposition video, you have the Hollywood Access tapes, and him saying during the deposition that's fine. Men have been, I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically says, men have been acting like that for 1,000,000 years now. So I'm no different. Men, you have that. You have the testimony of the people that E Jean Carroll confided in, and as well as the sexual assault survivors testifying that Donald Trump did exactly the same thing to them. And what you get here is a really compelling case that is going to be really hard for Trump to appeal, in my opinion. Now, he's going to certainly attempt to appeal. And it could be a while until E Jean Carroll even gets her $5 million, which was what was awarded by the jury for her damages. Trump's damage of defamation. The jury decided it was worth $5 million. It could be a long time until E Jean Carroll sees a single penny, because Trump's going to appeal. And as we know, Harvey Weinstein was convicted of sexually assaulting many women in 2018. And what I found out today is that that case has actually been appealed and is still on the books, waiting to be heard. So there's some air of possibility that Harvey Weinstein's conviction could be overturned. And Trump is going to do every single thing he can to slow down the process, to throw monkey wrenches into the process, and to do everything he can to not pay E Jean Carroll a single red cent. I mean, it's what he's done throughout his entire career. He's notorious for not paying his bills. When he came here to Albuquerque to technically Rio Rancho to go to his rally that he was having in 2019, he didn't even pay our city the $230,000 that he owed for the police servicing his event. We didn't get a penny of it. And there's example of Trump not paying up even when he's ordered to do so by law. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the future with this case. I'm really happy for E Jean Carroll, because I've always believed her story from the very start. And she must feel really vindicated right now after 26 years of being slandered and being told that this didn't happen, and being, keeping it silent for until 2019, right? And then after 2019, having all of the GOP MAGA right-wingers, just the most hateful, vitriolic hatefulness that has been sent towards this poor woman who just wants to not be sexually assaulted and wants to have justice for the person who did this to her. She just must be really vindicated right now, and I'm really happy for her. Now, how is the GOP voter base going to respond to this? We've seen how the GOP coalesced around Trump after his his indictment by New York Attorney General Alvin Bragg. Okay, and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, when he charged Trump. We've seen how the GOP coalesced around Trump, and he shot up in the polls. And Ron DeSantis has been going down ever since. And you could say that that's a big reason, because it's the government and the others are attacking our group. You know what I mean? It's us versus them. That's how Trump has always defined the world. It's the evil Democrats are out to attack and take away everything great that I've done for you, and we have to protect it at all costs and go on the attack against anybody that is to disparage our God leader, Donald Trump. So I predict we're going to see short term, Trump is going to shoot up in the polls. And this might even help him in the GOP primary, because voters are going to see this as the fake news media and the crooked government going after their guy Trump unjustly. That's what I believe that they're going to see it as. But in a general election, there's just no possible way that being found liable for sexually assaulting and slandering somebody There's just no way that this helps Trump with a single independent voter in the United States of America. Okay? Because there's been a lot of speculation and, well, not just speculation, but a lot of evidence as well as speculation as to Trump's behavior and what he thinks of women and how he kind of conducts himself in front of women that he lusts for. We've had a lot of sort of nothing super concrete outside of those Hollywood Access tapes. That would be the most concrete thing that would existed, in my opinion. But that was even, Trump could make the argument he was being sarcastic or hyperbolic, and that, oh, I wouldn't actually do that. I was just saying this is what men could do if they wanted to. They could do it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but now this is 9 jurors, 6 men and 3 women, who unanimously reviewed the evidence and unanimously came to the conclusion that Trump, in fact, did sexually assault E Jean Carrol, and that he is to pay $5 million in damages to her. This is our law in action. Okay, this is concrete facts and concrete law and order smacking Trump right back in the face. And personally, as you can probably tell, I am fucking over the moon. Okay, not that this thing happened, okay, because it's awful, and it's actually extremely awful that we have to even be talking about this. But the fact that just an incy wincy tiny bit of responsibility is creeping up on Trump makes me very optimistic for our future. It makes me proud of our legal system. It makes me proud of the 9 jurors who looked at the evidence with a unbiased view and came to this conclusion. And it sort of sets up a playbook for any other women who feel like they want to take their allegations and step it up to legally suing Trump and taking their allegations into a court of law and going to battle with Trump. This sets precedents for it, and it gives a blueprint for any other women who are going after not just Trump, but who are going after any other men of power, of how to run their case, how to present the evidence, and ultimately how to win against all odds, against one of the most and some of the most powerful people in the world. All right, so that's all I got for you guys on this one. It's extremely crazy news, and I'm really interested to see where this case goes forward from here, if it gets appealed, and if in fact E Jean Carrol ever gets her $5 million, which I really hope she does, because she deserves it at this point for what she's gone through. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, peace.